Hello, everyone. This is Scooby.
And I'm Steven. Welcome back to another episode of The Feedback, a little show that Scoobs and I like to do together where we introduce a new song or we bring up a song from our past that we really like and we want to discuss it with each other. And then on top of that, we want to discuss it and share it with you, the listener, and hopefully that you've never heard it either and that you like it as well. And then take it and share it with a friend and share it with other people too. Because the main gist of this song, or the song, sorry, the main gist of the show is music, conversation, and friendship. And, music helps make new friends. So, Scoobs, what are you going to listen to today?
Well, today I have chosen a song that wasn't even on my list of songs to pick. We both have a list that we go through and we're like, yeah, I want to do that song. Yeah, I want to do that song. And I was looking through the list, and as much as I like all the songs, nothing grabbed my attention. And then, while I was just kind of going through my Spotify playlist, of which I have way too many, I happened upon a song by The Wonder Years called Summer Clothes. And I would like to point out, and this is extremely important, and I will harp on it several times, this is the extended cut of this song. And the extended cut is the far, far superior version of this song. I'll get into it a little bit more, but the extended cut was released as a single standalone because the original edit of this song, which was just called Summer Clothes, no extended cut, came out on the album The Hum Goes On Forever, which came out in 2022. And interestingly, it was also released as a single, a promotional
Huh.
single for the album. And then a year later, they released the extended cut, also as a single, which, I mean, I'm sure that's happened before, but it's not something that I would think of as being very common.
No, I wouldn't say I've ever heard of that practice before, but it's interesting. So I want to make sure I followed this. They released a single, and then it came out on an album, and then they released a single later. Is that correct?
Yep.
I'm sorry. So the first release was the extended, or the first release was the album version?
The first release was, I guess we'll call it the album cut.
Okay, so they had the first release of the album cut, and then the album came out, and then later on they released another single, which was the original song, but the extended version of it.
Yes.
Correct. Okay, cool. That's okay. So yes, I have not heard of that before. It's pretty interesting the way they went about that too. Was it like a reminder, or was it just that they really wanted to like put out this version because you already alluded to saying that you like this version, the extended version, way more than the original, or the cut version, I should say, the radio edit, as it were.
Yeah, so I tried to do some research into it because I wondered if perhaps they wrote the song and then they went back to it and they were like, let's do something more with this, and they added to it, or if this was always the plan that they had they had recorded an extended cut and they're like, well, we'll just release it later. I don't actually know the story behind it, to be honest with
Interesting.
you, from what I tried to look at. But I personally am very glad that they released the extended cut. The original edit of this song is only 4 minutes. Well, not only. It's 4 minutes long, which is actually kind of long for like a standard song, if you will. The extended cut adds an additional 3 minutes and 21 seconds. So it's a fair amount. Like, you could argue it's like another song length that they added to the song.
Yeah, that there's a lot more song involved. So that definitely adds to the mystery of, was it a song that they wrote this long and then decided to take some things out of, or was it something that they heard and they're like, hey, we can do more on this?
I personally would think it's the latter, but again, I'm unsure.
Okay.
But a little bit more information about the band and the album. As I said, this album is called The Hum Goes On Forever. It was released in 2022. It is the seventh album by the Wonder Years, seventh full length album. They have released several EPs. Actually, just as of this recording last week, they released an acoustic EP, Burst in Decay Part 3, which is just acoustic reimaginings of a bunch of their songs. And in terms of genre, they definitely started out as a pop punk band, but their sound has really evolved over the years, and They still have pop punk elements, but there's a lot more in there now. I would say alternative, emo, folk influences, just straight up rock. They've really become a mixed bag, and usually that's a negative term, but I'm not using it as one here. Like they just have a lot of different influences that they draw in and make work in their music.
No, that's exciting.
Yeah, band members Dan Soupy Campbell on vocals because Campbell soup.
Of course.
Who I
Make
will
the call out
point
when
out,
you can, right?
Yeah, I will point out he is one of my favorite lyricists and favorite singers in general. And then the rest of the band, there's Casey Cavalier on lead guitar, Matt Brash on rhythm guitar and vocals, Mike Kennedy on drums, Josh Martin on bass and vocals, and Nick Steinborn on guitar and keyboards. And they are another band that, despite being around so long, the only band member that has changed is the drummer. So,
Well, that's not bad. That's a pretty good cast to keep together that long, right?
yeah, because I believe their first album came out in 2001, their first full length, which was The Upsides, I believe.
I'm not positive. I'll have to take your word on it because
It's
I'm definitely not the best with remembering names or chronological orders of things, but I try
it,
real hard.
it's either The Upsides or Suburbia. I've given you all, and now I'm nothing. Pretty sure it's The Upsides though. And you could tell they're the same band from back then, but that they've just evolved. And I think that's fun. Like, there are always people who will complain when sounds change and everything like that, but I don't know. I dig it. I dig it quite a bit.
I know that I've definitely voiced this before. At some point in an episode, the one thing that I wasn't a fan of was how much one of my bands that I listened to a lot was changing at the time. But going back, I'm not as mad about it anymore because you can still hear where they were. I was just, it was a day to remember. It was definitely one of the ones that sticks out the most.
Yeah.
Where they definitely changed their sound progressively as it went. I don't think there was ever really a thing that they weren't going to do. I feel like that was pretty obvious based on the way that some of their earliest stuff sounded, and then some of their singles that they put out with the Punkos Crunk and the Punkos Pop.
Yeah.
Um, but now that I go back and listen to it, that's definitely something that I appreciate, and I could still hear where they were and what they went to. But it was like right around the time where it felt like they put out one real strong album, another real strong album, one that was like pretty good, and then the next one was like, okay, it feels like they're just rushing out music because they want to make money and change their sound faster. And then the next one was like, ugh, ugh. And like, you know what I mean? Like when you go to when you go to see one band at one show and you never see the other bands because like you make fun of them. Like that's when you're making fun of like Creed and Stained and Disturbed. And then like 2 years later, you see the Day to Remember's opening for Creed and Stained and Disturbed. You're like, oh,
Oh man. Yeah.
it's like fuck. um. But I'm excited for it in this sense because I will admit I am familiar with the Wonder Years. I'm not familiar with this song at all. Either version, the longer, the extended cut or the other original album cut that they had put out. And I'm very familiar with their pop punk stuff and that sound. So I'm curious to see how that change went because you also mentioned some of the new sounds are like one of them was emo, and I love a good emo band. So
That's right.
so I'm all here for that. And one thing that I wanted to ask, because I think you might have said it and I might have missed it, was how far apart was the album release versus the extended release? Like, I know the time length, but this came out in 2002 with the album cut. How long after did this come out?
I don't know if it was a full calendar year. I'm not quite sure on the dates, but I do
Okay.
know that the album came out in 2022 and the extended cut as a single was released in 2023. So, I mean, there is a lot of leeway in when that could have been exactly.
Yeah, but it's not one of those things where it's like they're trying to keep themselves relevant. It could have been more like you said before, like it was soon enough after the original album dropped that this came from that they were like, hey, we could have done more with this
Yeah.
and kind of built that out. Or hey, we heard this for long enough this way, we should really show everybody else the original way too, because it's been really well received. So yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely it definitely adds on to that. It wasn't like a, hey, don't forget about this album, and we're gonna be touring soon. Here's a single to remind you. No, it wasn't that.
No, I don't think so, because it was a single, they released a music video for the album cut. And then they released a music video for the extended cut.
Oh,
which
very cool.
I believe is just a continuation of the same video. I don't think they filmed something completely new. It's not a completely new music video. I think they just had footage that they're like, well, we made an extended cut of the song, so we'll also make an extended cut of the video.
That's cool.
Which that, also leads me to my next point is there is a music video, which we will be watching, and it's a unique video. I like it a lot. I won't pretend to really understand it, but I like it. It's very artistic.
Oh, cool. I'm here for it now. Now I'm even more excited. I'm ready to go if you are.
Yeah. All right.
All right, cool.
So this is the Wonder Years Summer Clothes Extended Cut.
Justin and I've got the windows down. The AC is busted, it's hotter than hell. But I hate myself a little less when the salt air hits my skin. Sat on the benches when the shops had closed. Saw the Ferris wheel light through your Marlboro smoke. And I sort of fumbled through playing steady your footing, steady your footing. Oh, I love the glow of you in your summer clothes, coming down the parkway, leaving the city, shaking off the cold. Met up with strangers around 2 a.m. The beach is deserted, it's just us and them. And the batteries, they can't get the stereo through one goddamn song. Swam out so deep we probably should have died. Too young and too dumb and too fed up with life. But when you grab my ankles, the two of us still aren't tall enough to touch the bottom. Aren't tall enough to touch the bottom. Oh, I love the glow of you in your summer clothes, coming down the parkway, leaving the city, shaking off the cold. Oh, I love the glow of you in your summer clothes, coming down the parkway,
So there's a lot in this song for me to unpack, for both of us to unpack, I think, to step behind the curtain for a moment. For the very first time in all of our episodes of doing this, we were like, let's take a minute to gather our thoughts before we discuss, which might say a lot about how we feel about this song. So this might be an extended cut of the podcast as well as an extended cut of the song.
Hey, I like that idea.
So for me, we talked about the genre of the Wonder Years, how they've kind of evolved throughout the years. And we mentioned emo, which, as we all know, is short for emotional. And I'm a big old softie. Like, music does make me very emotional. But this song in particular really hits me a certain way. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's a very wistful sounding song. Maybe nostalgic is a word you can use for it, even though it's only a couple years old. There's just something about it that it really does make me emotional. Tearing up, like I can feel the emotion in my chest when I listen to this song. And it's not only just, it would still have that same effect with the original album cut, but the original album cut ends right after the last chorus, pretty much. And in the music video, there's actually credits that start rolling. The song continues with an instrumental bridge that just, it builds so beautifully to me. I want to, like, the entire band does amazing. I want to call out the drummer in particular. Let me find that name again. Mike Kennedy. I listen to post-rock a lot, which is something that we haven't really gotten into on this podcast. I might have mentioned it once or twice, but post-rock as a genre is primarily instrumental, and the way it's structured is that it builds into a crescendo. And the latter part of this song feels very post-rock to me because it is primarily instrumental. There are a couple more lyrics at the end, but it's just a repeated phrase that almost feels more like an instrument than actual lyrics. And I think that it soars is the word that I want to use for it. Like, it's just extremely powerful. And I think that without that ending, the song is fine, but the original cut just feels very abrupt and empty to me now when I go back and listen to it. So that is why I think the extended cut is the far superior version of this song.
Yeah, I'm gonna... can I cut in?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. So, I agree. I want to start off by talking about the addition of the extended piece, like you did as well, and say I agree that it does not sound bad if it ended where the credits start to roll, but it definitely would feel abrupt to listen to that version after hearing that, because, like you said, like that ending, it's very nice. I'll get back to that. I guess I could start there instead of we talk about the lyrics, because we usually talk about the song first and then we kind of get into the lyrics too. So the nostalgic thing that you hit on, 100%, that is agreed through and through. I'll talk more about that when we go to lyrics too. His voice, I love his voice. It has I don't care what people say. I know that a lot of people complain about different kinds of, like, that whine and that emo kind of sound can kind of be dwelling or whatever, or hurtful to some people's ears, or you don't really appreciate the sound of where it's coming from, or they all sound the same, which is like the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. But he has a very unique voice with that, and it has a lot of warmth, and it does sound very beautiful, but it does have, like, it feels like it's filled with hurt and pain, but, like, it's not meant to be that way. It's just, like, how much he's really putting into, like, these memories and how much they mean to him. It's not like a hurtful thing. It's more of like a laughing through the tears, like when you're having, like, happy tears kind of a thing, and you're just, like, you're laughing so hard you're crying. It's more of that kind of an emotion than a painful emotion. the balloon animal monsters. I thought that was, it could be both figurative in the sense of being like, man, the amount of balloon animals there that must have been made and popped and like all the balloons and how bad it is for the environment, or just even like the amorphous memory of what your parents looked like, because when you're around them your entire time growing up, you always remember them always looking the same. But then when you look back at pictures, you're like, oh yeah, that is what dad or mom looked like when we were that old. Weird. And like time hits you. It could have been either one of those things. So I thought that was really cool, and it was very a very fun way of looking at it in that kind of sense, more than a balloon animal monster sense. I have wrote lyrics because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to keep up. I moved forward from there. Yeah, as the credits rolled and it went to the I was actually fighting with myself on whether or not I was going to call out what the changes were. But then I was thinking, when we talked earlier, we mentioned about setting up a start and pause point for people so that they can watch the music video before they listen, which hopefully you did, because I'm going to tell you that you should, but I know it's too late now. But I'll post it on the social media links, so you do on this one specifically, because that animated edition is it's so smart and unexpected on how they're going to like continue. It's like, how are they going to continue a music video that's already been done for over a year? I'm confused. But like the way that the credits were kind of cartoony, it almost like set it up for that. Yes. Accidentally or on purpose. I don't know, because I don't know what the original credits looked like. If those are the original credits, then that was just perfectly done, and bravo. And if not, and they changed the credits so it looked that way, even smarter, because it helped. But I loved how those balloon animals were just there, and then like that was then them growing up as kids doing this as they were doing it over and over and over again, because they were the ones that were the amorphous shapes, because they were growing and changing, but they only remember ever looking the same. Because yeah, it's really hard to look in the mirror and remember what you looked like 5 years ago when it, you see it every day for those 5 years. But the song really, really builds there as they kind of like reach outer space. And like you said, that those chanted lyrics, there's a hole in the sky and I'm aiming for it. It becomes a part of the song more than it becomes a lyrical content. And it kind of just has that nice little echoey, even though there's no air in space, or there's no air in outer space, so there would be no echo for it to happen with. But yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. If the emptiness, like the figurativeness of emptiness, it kind of gave that like you're in a dark cave and it's just echoing forever, right?
Yep. Which I don't know if you did that intentionally, but as we'll recall, the album name is The Hum Goes On Forever.
Yeah. Very introspective, right? Is that the right word?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is just a fun little caveat that I was waiting this whole time, because it felt like it was a Midwest emo song. I was waiting for that next part to really drive it in, but that never happened, and that's okay. It didn't need it. But I've now coined Nemo for Northeast emo because it still had like that very like beautiful poetic melodic, very like strung under rate, right? Like it was there that whole time. And that's another characteristic of the Midwest emo that we talk about a lot and both appreciate and love a lot. But being as this is a band from the Pennsylvania, kind of the region that we're from, right? It would not be Midwest at all.
Nope.
Did you want to talk about lyrics first, or do you care if I start, or?
You can go for it. I wanted to, before that, I think I had a different interpretation of the ending of the video from you. Because
okay.
The video itself, and again, like I'm going to be describing this is an audio only format, but the video follows along with a little girl who is being accompanied by two, I mean, the best way to describe them is balloon monsters, kind of. They're not very flattering to look at, but it seems as though they're acting as her guardians, and
yeah.
They're escorting her everywhere. They're buying ice cream for her. They're going. The end of the video, before the credits roll, is, they've spent the entire day at the boardwalk, and they're sitting down and they're having dinner in a pizza shop. And when it switches to the animation, it shows the two balloon monsters, and they're just dancing to the music and floating up into the sky. And to me, that my interpretation was like, well, if those are her guardians, they, this entire video is perhaps the girl just remembering what may have been the best day of her life, and it's her guardians who are gone, and they're floating up into the sky.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
I would say it's all up for interpretation. The only people who would really be able to tell us what the video means is the people who created it. But that's kind of what I got from it.
Yeah. The reason why, and I mean, I definitely see that because obviously it was a continuation of the music video, right? And those were the same people that were in there. The reason that made me think that was the lyrics themselves. The opening line is Justin and I have got the windows down, so I know that it's a song about him and his brother. So I was thinking that, yeah, whatever. I was thinking maybe like since they did the extended cut, it switched to being about them. Right? It went from being like remembering one value and the memory of life versus the other one with him and his brother. Because yeah, but to get in the lyrics, because I kind of said I was going to get there, and I know that there's some stuff too, so I didn't want to go too far ahead on anything. So I figured I would talk about just the first verse and see how you felt, and then continue on from there. This way we each had a chance. Or maybe even switch back and forth if you were ready to and had something. But verse one, just flat out saying like it gave the nostalgic vibes through and through. And I mean, clearly this is, not, I shouldn't say clearly, but I would say for me, it feels clearly that it was done going through the family vacations to like Jersey or Maryland, right? That very much felt like a New Jersey, South New Jersey, Upper Maryland boardwalk, small town kind of, or the smaller boardwalk city, like not one of the big ones that everyone went to. And it very well could have been one that they went to themselves growing up, because a lot of them look that way if you've ever been to that kind of, that little area. And I don't know that that look continues up and down the whole coast, because I myself have not gone up and down the whole coast to see it, but I'm just familiar with the little area that I was from. And as soon as it started and it showed that happening and like that kind of area and that look, it instantly was nostalgic for me. It instantly felt like that. Yeah, I get that. But then the second line where he says, but I hate myself a little less when the salt air hits my skin, he's already talking about going through some issues with either like self-love, or maybe he has anxiety and he's thinking too much about things. But to be talking about when you were a young child going down to the Jersey Shore, presumably with your family, and to already have those feelings of hating yourself, like, yeah, there's some stuff going on that he needs to address.
Yes. I want to say, like, I find it identifiable because, I also had those sort of issues with, self-image, and if you want to be super dramatic about it, like self-hatred as growing up is tough. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot that's out of your control, or at least feels like it's out of your control, and you sort of take refuge wherever you can find it, which I think is what this is. We're not in the best situation, but we're going to make the best of the situation.
Yeah, and then also you get to be your summer self where you're not surrounded by those people anymore, right?
Yeah.
The next verse goes on and talks about just some more memories of being there, like stuff that you could definitely remember as being a kid. That definitely, it's weird to talk about having such a strong memory of people just smoking packs of cigarettes back to back on the park or on the beach benches or at the beach 2 towels away from you, which is now so incredibly illegal that you never expect to ever see it again, and can't remember that there's a time that it happened. But I can promise you, the less money, the least, whatever town had the least money for their beach didn't have the best beach combers, or didn't have enough staff to pay for beach combers, and you could tell because there were far too many cigarette butts in in some of those beaches. But
yeah,
sometimes that's just, that was what you saw. And unfortunately, it took a lot of time to fix that, but it's a lot better now than it was. So thankfully that changed. But there's also a call to, I believe, a Death Cab for Cutie album, or song rather. Is that right? Steady Your Footing?
Death Cab? I believe so. Not me checking Spotify right now.
Steady Your Footing, Death Cab for Cutie.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think there's been talks of that before where they kind of got some influences. I mean, they were a big band, Death Cab for Cutie. Like, they were, especially in the general age range of who these people are, because I'm fairly certain they're within 2 to 5 years of us, give or take.
Yeah.
So I mean, it definitely makes sense for that influence to be there and to exist. So, but then the chorus talking about, it felt really warm, like the warmth of talking about just the loving the glow of you and your summer glows. Like, even just saying, like, you become yourself when we're at the beach. And then the memory of coming down the parkway, which is why I said Jersey, and leaving the city and shaking off the cold. Because as soon as it, like, spring break, or like, what do they call it? Senioritis, the spring flu, whatever you want to call it. As soon as it started to warm up again and you can go to the beach, you went to the beach, right? Like, that was something you wanted to do no matter what.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, like, it hits those real strong nostalgic vibes. And also having a sibling, and he's talking about a sibling directly, it kind of gave that appreciation of, like, the memories with his family. You have been there, you know those feelings, that feel goody.
Yep.
It's funny too, because, like, I've seen, like, you make random friends because you're walking with people. So even, like, met up with strangers around 2 a.m. and the beach is deserted. It's just us and them and the batteries that can't get the stereo through one goddamn song. And, like, man, if I didn't feel that, you had a fucking boombox that you were carrying. It was heavy as hell, and I'm sure that, I mean, the generation before us knows it all too well as well, where you're carrying around a pocket full of D batteries. One pocket's dead batteries, one pocket's new batteries, and then you have a set of batteries that are in it.
Yep.
And yeah, exactly. They can't get through a song before it dies because of the amount of volume and power that it's taking to actually do it. But just even, like, hearing that verse and going back to reread it, because I wrote down batteries, because, like, I remember I want to talk about that one too. I remember, like, having the same feeling, but thankfully when I was going and I was a little bit older, I had a CD player that only needed 2 AA batteries, so it wasn't as bad, and I wasn't carrying around as many batteries. But I also was listening to the songs myself, walking around late at night when you're supposed to be asleep and in bed. But
Yep.
man, the beach at night is just the most beautiful thing in the world.
As long as you've mostly got it to yourself.
Yeah, agreed. Anybody that's gone to the ocean, I'm sure that if you've gone to the ocean and you're not absolutely terrified of going into the water now, like I've kind of grown to be, which is surprising, because when I was younger, I remember that, like, you couldn't keep me out of it. I loved getting as far in as I could and letting the waves just, like, push me back in. And that's what they're talking about. Like, swam out so deep we probably should have died. Too young and too dumb and too fed up with life. But when you grabbed my ankles and we still weren't tall enough to reach the bottom. Like, yeah, I remember that and I went for that. Like, that's a whole different feeling when you're just kind of, like, floating out there and you're just hoping that nothing comes up and eats you.
That is one that I can't really relate to, at least physically, since I don't know how to swim. You wouldn't have caught me out there because I definitely would have died.
Well, that's smart of you to remember that. I mean, I remember that you told me last time that you didn't know how to swim, and I was like, that's surprising, but not as surprising as you not being able to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But, I mean, even, not being able to recall the physical sensation of that, like, just the imagery is enough to still evoke the feelings that he's trying to get across. Yeah, we just went out there because who gives a fuck? We're just trying to have a good time. We want to enjoy ourselves, and whatever happens, happens. We're having fun. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, 100%. And just all, like, remembering that and feeling that, like, that feel of just, like, floating in weightlessness too. I think that's a good little play too, back to, like, the space stuff, because they talk later about in the bridge where they're talking about the stars that they could see through the light pollution, because there's all kinds of headlights and street lamps and stuff like that down there, plus signs for like the neon signs for all the different events and the boardwalk rides and all that stuff too. It talks about we can make the shape out of a space station. Some lonely astronaut will smile back at us. Like, I think that's like it's fun to think about that, like that idea and like doing that. But like I remember doing something like that, but like laying on those plastic nicotine stained vinyl pool chairs because there was finally nobody on them. If it was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and you could just sit there and like look up at the stars in the sky and just kind of like try to do the same thing. But yeah, again, the way that they talk about it and the way that they phrase everything, it really helps you remember doing those things, or at least visualize those things and be a part of it. It's one of those, like, it's I don't want to say generic because generic usually sounds bad, but like it's enough people have had an experience like this where talking about it kind of evokes that emotion, like you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really well done on that.
Yeah, despite not having actually physically experienced what they're talking about, it's just, you get it.
Yeah, because even if you're not near the ocean and you're just laying down outside in the grass, you might have still done a similar thing. Yeah, I really like this song. This is a really good one. I really liked the sound too, where it had, like you had mentioned, there was a lot more emo in that, a lot more emotion from even just not only what they were saying and talking about and the way that they were singing it, but also in the way that it makes you feel too. Like it's evoking that from you. So I think it was really well done, and I like their sound. I like where the sound is for this album, or at least this song. I'm assuming the rest of the album has a similar vibe.
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting too because they've obviously gotten older, and this is a very introspective song, but they'll still put out some. They put out a couple songs after this album came out, just like standalone singles that were super aggressive, and I was like, oh, you could still do that too, huh?
Oh, nice.
They actually did a cover of Deadbolt by Thrice from The Illusion of Safety, their 2001 album, and man, they did a great job.
Oh,
and
cool.
They actually released another song called Year of the Vulture that was straight up written for a wrestling pay-per-view.
Oh,
I was
really?
like, yeah, I was like, wow, that's unexpected. Like, I wouldn't expect to turn on, because I watch wrestling, to turn on a wrestling pay-per-view and hear the Wonder Years, because usually they've been picking stuff like Slipknot and Poppy and there's another band I'm thinking, Electric Callboy, like stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, the Wonder Years, huh? That's interesting.
Did you mention the name of the song for that one?
Year of the Vulture.
Year of the Vulture. Okay, I want to make
Yeah.
sure because I know I've mentioned my friend before, Eddie, that likes to I've talked to and done different things with, but he is somebody that appreciates the wrestling call-outs. So I want to make sure that that was there because he might know that song, and if not, he's
Yeah,
gonna want to remember it. So Eddie, that one's for you.
there you go. Yeah, this is just one of those songs that, much like the idea of this podcast in general, this is a song that I share with people a lot. Just because my friends will come to me a lot and be like, "Hey, like I'm just looking to find a new song." I'll be like, "Check this out. This is one of them, man. This is like a go-to for me to be like, you need to hear this."
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I'm gonna add that onto my list as well. I'm gonna steal it from you. I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't. Meme stolen.
Yep.
But at least I liked it first. No, anyway. Yeah, this is a great song, both for a different genre, for a different feel, for a different sound, for an introduction to a band that had a different sound before, but isn't too far off. Like, yeah, there's changes, absolutely. Don't get me wrong, but like you mentioned earlier, you can still hear where they were before, and
Yeah.
you still have like a very obvious influence of themselves. I guess is the best way to say it, right?
Yeah, it's still like you hear it, and even if it's been forever since you've listened to the Wonder Years, you'll be like, "Yep, that's the Wonder Years." Like,
Yeah.
it's still unequivocally them, despite certain stylistic changes.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a great song. I'm very happy with the with this choice today, and it's funny because you mentioned too. Like I've had that feeling before, where you have the list, we're looking through, and you're like, yeah, but like I just listened to this, and this really hit today, and it's like it's gonna have to be this.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
I get that completely because that happened before too for me with another song when we were talking about it, and I was like, ah, and I just had to bring it out. Um, but that's the kind of song that it definitely, like you mentioned, with a little bit of the behind the curtain, with we actually took a moment to get ourselves together with this one was just a real testament to the song for both of us because we both have talked about the Wonder Years before, both on and off the stream, and then sorry, recording, not stream, sorry, and also just the appreciation for that genre of music because granted we both have that together and we fanboy about it pretty hard. So for us to both, want to take that minute, this is it's cool. I like that. I like that this is where it brought us today because it's definitely a very good song and it definitely has a really good feeling to it of just having that like memory of any point in your youth and just appreciating what you had at that point and just, the togetherness and the oneness and just the simpler times. Don't grow up too fast, kids.
Yeah, for real. Oof.
Man, who would have thought an emo song would have made us all emotional and stuff?
This is one of those that every time I'm like, it's one of those songs that I really like, and there are times where I'm like, I can't listen to this right now because if I do, I'm going to get too emotional.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have songs like that, but this is I have a couple, and this is one of them.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a few songs that I feel that way towards, as you mentioned, and like this is one that I will definitely add on for the right reasons because, yeah, when you're already in that point where you need to kind of hear it or you don't want to hear it, you need to remember that this song exists.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to accidentally get here, but you also might need to get here. It all depends.
Yeah. I love this song, but not right now. I can't right now.
Right, like you're the pre-cry feelings coming. Like, no.
Yeah. Exactly.
I need something else.
It's like when I trying to go to sleep at night and the existential dread sets in. Oh God, it's all gonna stop one day. And just wake like, let me just go watch some funny YouTube videos or something. Turn on all the lights.
Yeah, exactly. This is not
Too
the
real.
song. This is not
Too
the song
real.
that you put on at like 11 p.m. when you're laying down and like, I need to go to bed now.
Yeah.
Your eyes just crack open, get bloodshot. You're like,
No.
yeah. The Wonder Years produces a lot of really good songs, but I am having a hard time trying to think of a title to suggest more for you. So
Oof.
I am going to unfortunately
I got you
let my
covered.
brain fart not happen and let you take the show on this one because I know you got a good amount for us. So please, some recommendations for the Wonder Years besides Summer Clothes. The wrestling one was The Veil.
The wrestling one was Year of the Vulture.
Oh, wow, that was way off. Year of the Vulture.
Check out their cover of Thrice's Deadbolt, Passing Through a Screen Door off of the album The Greatest Generation. I would recommend that entire album because the last song has callbacks to songs from the entire album, and it's chef's kiss. I love when bands do that, when they have motifs that they return to. That song, that album also, that song in particular hit me at a rough time, where one of the lyrics in the song is, Jesus Christ, I'm 26, all the people I graduated with all have kids, all have wives, all have people who care if they come home at night. Jesus Christ, did I fuck up? I heard that when I was 26. And I was like, oh god, did I fuck up?
Yeah,
So,
that wasn't good. That was definitely not the right time, but I
yeah,
remember that song, and it is a very beautiful song, but also, like you said,
yeah, that was like a gut punch. Like, oh no, why are you doing this to me?
this isn't a midlife crisis. I'm 26, damn it, shut up.
26 isn't old. God damn, I'm approaching 36 right now. But and then Stained Glass Ceilings and Cigarettes and Saints are also two more songs that I highly recommend.
That was the one I was thinking of, Cigarettes and Saints.
Yep. That's another one of those gut punch songs. They have a lot of those. They're very good at that.
That's why we love them, though.
That's right.
We could like you wouldn't want to listen to a band that has that like emotional undertones from the get-go if you didn't also resonate with those emotional undertones, right? Like
Yes.
if they weren't doing a good enough job to be talking about the same kind of shit you're going through, then why would you listen to them?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's some bands that are good, and then there's some bands that are way too good at it, and that's kind of where you land with this one. It's not just once or twice, like you just mentioned. There's at least a half dozen times, if not more, on various occasions that you can just pull out for like. You don't want to listen to it unless you're in this mood. You want to listen to it unless you're in this mood. You want to listen to it especially if you need to feel this mood. Like,
Yes.
they have it. They have it. They have range.
Wide range. I think that's how it would be said.
I really hope that this new Nemo genre takes off. I hope there's more of this.
I mean, there are a couple bands that I could automatically throw into that just because of where they're from this area. Like, and of course, I'm going to think of bands from our area specifically, not just Greater Northeast, but like Tiger's Jaw, the Menzingers,
Yup.
Captain We're Sinking. Like, yeah.
I didn't know that was also from the area.
Oh, Captain We're Sinking, the lead singer of that band is the brother of one of the members of the Menzingers, so.
That makes
Yep.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But agreed on those. But yeah, I want to hear some people from up in like the Vermont, New Hampshire area for that like extra snowy vibe, and kind of hear where they're going, because that I feel like that would be the closest to like the Midwest emo vibe, because they also have that like frozen tundra for a few months where it's just blistering cold.
Where it hurts your face to go outside.
Yeah, because it's just nothing but flat, so there's just like -50 wind chill. Don't go there, it sucks. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's beautiful. I don't want to deter anyone from traveling anywhere, especially in this day and age where we're already having a crisis with tourism.
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah, I don't have any further notes on this, and I mean that's not a bad thing. We're going quite a bit here, regardless.
Yes, the extended cut of the feedback on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad about it, especially because the song itself, as a 7.5 minute song, did not feel like 7.5 minutes either. Like, I know we talked about that before with Zaiteki. I can't remember, Jacob Zaiteki with
Yep.
wasn't his song like nearly 5?
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
didn't feel like it was a 5 minute song either, which was a good thing. That's definitely a compliment. Like, if you can keep my attention and keep me wanting to hear what else you've got happening for that amount of time, especially as somebody with ADHD, like, congratulations. You did a really hard thing that I couldn't think, I don't think I've ever been able to do. Like, really?
Should
I
wait
mean,
till I
even-
start
Go ahead.
bringing my my 17-minute long post rock songs.
Those are ones we have to take a bathroom break halfway through.
Yeah.
We're getting too old for this shit. Oh, I was gonna say something, but I can't remember. It wasn't that important. It was a funny thing. That's fine. Yeah. If that about does it, then I want to go ahead and prep you to hear a pre-recorded version of my spiel about social media that will happen right now. That's right, because important, long-winded information and ADHD don't mix. But I hope if you've made it to this point, you like what Scoops and I are doing, and hopefully you like it so much you want to shout it from the top of a mountain. But it would be a whole lot more helpful if you told your friends about us instead. Word of mouth or listening with someone is our favorite, but social media is also great, and you can interact with us there too. So please come by our Instagram, Blue Sky, or Facebook, where you can find us as The Feedback, or on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter /X, at @thefeedback_PC to see what's coming next, suggest a song, talk about our latest episode, or just talk about anything.
And now that you have obviously gone and done all the things that we asked for, followed us on the social media, shared, left a comment, left a rating, put in a song request, all those fun things, I would like to give a shout out to the artist who created our intro and outro music. The artist is Exile, and the song is Egg, as one of my friends referred to it, that YouTube tutorial music. You can check that out wherever you can find music, and you can also use the song yourself if you want to, but don't, because we're already doing that. As long as you give Exile a shout out, you're free to use the song.
Yeah, don't take our shit.
Yeah. It's ours.
And also his.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. And if that about wraps it up, are you good?
Yeah,
Any
that does it
final
for
thoughts?
me. No,
Alright.
just go check out the Wonder Years. Yeah, they're great.
Yes, and if you made it this far, first of all, thank you. But second, you didn't watch the music video, please go do so. It is integral, however you pronounce that word, to the experience, in my opinion.
Agreed.
All right, everyone, thanks for sticking with us for this one, and come back next time to see whatever we dig up next. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's wild. Like, why? What is the point? Why do they have such a crazy different song? Is it just like,
Well,
oh, this sounds good? Or like another member of the band? Or
I think I can tell you why. Because back in the day, Steven, when we didn't have streaming services, and they would that's when you were gambling when you bought an album, because you were buying an album based off the quality of the singles that you heard.
that's
So,
true.
You know, if you got into, you know, the song that was on the radio, and then you bought the album and the rest of the album was shit, well, too bad. You can't take it back. I mean, maybe you
Right.
could, but most people aren't going to take it back. They're like, nah, this isn't what I was expecting. This isn't what I wanted. They got your money. It doesn't matter.
I would say that they might have done returns on CDs for a little while until it was easy to make copies.
Yeah, that's true.
And they probably did the same thing with cassettes before they made like the dual tape deck thing. Because
Yeah.
I remember like when I was a kid, the first mixtapes I ever made were literally mixtapes of just blank cassettes that you threw on, recorded the song that it came on the radio, stopped recording after, end of story. That's how
Yep.
old I am.
I remember.
Oh, those were the days, the good old days.
The good old days. We're really showing our age.
I'm gonna say that I need a couple of minutes to overlook those lyrics if you don't care, because like that was fucking awesome, and there's definitely lots of stuff I want to call out, but I didn't want to spend too much time writing stuff down because I wanted to appreciate what was going on and read and watch, and I knew I wouldn't be able to write things down while also reading and watching.
Yeah, that's okay.
So, yeah.
I mean, I have a lot I can say about this song. So I definitely had some cat meows in there, and one of them knocked something over at one point, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to mute that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I heard them meow the one time when I was talking, and I was like, just keep going, don't get distracted, just keep going.
Yeah.
It took everything in my power to not be like, kitty.
Cat! Yep.